Hello viewers, my name is Chase Clover, and this is one of the many videos, hopefully many videos that will be coming out today, being as we are behind in our YouTube uploading schedule. We're uploading this first because it seems like the most important video to upload this weekend, and I'll go ahead and say it. This is my preview and prediction video on the September 28, 2014 USW pay-per-view entitled USW Top Rope 2014. This is, I'm pretty sure, in the Bronx, New York. I'll search it up right now. As it loads. Just want to say something, before this loads. While this loads, oh, never mind. Yes, it's in Bronx, New York. In Bronx, New York. It's in the Bronx Arena, and there are 6 matches on this card. There are 5 matches that are normal type matches, and there's one specialty match exclusive to this pay-per-view, which is the top rope match, which will be the main event of the show. And this video may not be as long as my other preview and prediction videos, or Zack's preview and prediction videos, or whoever's preview and prediction videos, because there are less matches on this card than there are from many other cards, especially in USW. And USW has, near or less than 5 of these matches on their pay-per-view, only if there's a specialty match going on, and if it's going to take a long time. So, much like, I believe these are the only 2 matches that kind of shorten down the match card. The top rope match, which is on top rope in September, and the 20-man gauntlet match on Insanity in February. So, those are what shorten the amount of matches on the card, and we should just get into it. So the 6 matches on the card. First match on the show is the kickoff match. First match on the match card. James versus Tallman Chris Ross. James and Chris Ross have been having this feud or rivalry or promo, whatever you want to call it, since I believe the first edition of Intensity after Capital Carnage. Tallman Chris Ross and James both lost a qualifying match for the top rope match against Simon Saint and Philip Akron, respectively. And Chris Ross and James, I guess, being as they both lost those matches, the USW tried to put them in their own feud, and that's pretty much what has led up to this match here at top rope. The week after, James and Tallman Chris Ross fought in a match against each other, and James ended up coming out victorious, and Chris Ross did not like it, so James and Chris Ross kind of had their little feud start to go at that point. And then, I believe, the week after, CED and ED beat James, and I believe Chris Ross then proceeded to attack James and pretty much, I guess, try to make sure he didn't interfere in his match. So, ended up being James interfering, or not interfering, and then it ended up being Philip Akron beating Chris Ross later in the night, and James attacking Chris Ross, or coming back at Chris Ross, and then the week after, James and Simon Saint, which is this past Wednesday, James and Simon Saint beat Chris Ross and Philip Akron. So that's what led up to this match, on this match on the card, on the pay-per-view. And not too bad of hype going into this match. And it's not a bad match, really at all, because James is a performer who has a lot of potential. He is a former 2-time blue belt champion. I really wanted to see him, get back in a championship picture, like the blue belt championship, because I feel like he can really produce as a champion. And then we have Chris Ross, who is a former 4-time World Heavyweight Champion, held the world title for the longest amount of time in one reign. He holds that record, as well as the record for holding it the most amount of times. So you pretty much have someone who's been near the top of the food chain against someone who's trying to get, trying to see the top of the food chain. And it should be an interesting match. Chris Ross is a tall guy, but he's very strong. James is not short, but he is somewhat of a high flyer. Well, actually, not even somewhat a high flyer. He is a high flyer, which is something you really kind of need when you have something involving wrestling, because you need someone to. I apologize. You need someone to put in these kind of risk-taking moves that the fans would want to see and gain the fans' interest. So, High Flyer versus Powerhouse, good matchup, great ability by both these performers. They play the role very well, and this match is looking very good. And in my thought, I think Chris Ross is going to win this match because of the fact that James kind of was able to take Chris Ross off his feet and keep him off his feet on, I believe it was if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the September 10th edition of Intensity when they fought off. But I'm not saying James can't keep Chris Ross off his feet on the pay-per-view tomorrow night, but I'm saying that Chris Ross, I think, will be more aware that James will be targeting the legs, trying to get him off his feet for most of the match. So I think Chris Ross will be more on edge and more aware of what James is going to try to do, which I think he's going to be able to use to pick up the victory and pick up the upper hand and the momentum. So I see Chris Ross defeating James in this match. Second match on the card is the no disqualification match for the Extreme Championship. Titanfall defending the Extreme title against Crimson Red. Let me go back and do some of my some research here. Titanfall defeated Crimson Red and MC4 for the Extreme title at Capital Carnage 2014, like 4 weeks ago. And then the Intensity after on the 3rd. Crimson Red used his Extreme title rematch against Titanfall, and Titanfall ended up coming out victorious, which moved on to the 10th edition of the September 10th edition of Intensity, which had the top rope qualifying match, MC4 beating Crimson Red, which meant MC4 would not be in the Extreme title picture at top rope, but Crimson Red still had a chance because he's not qualifying for the top rope match. Anything else happened in that? No, I don't believe so. Then the 17th edition, the September 17th edition of Intensity, was Titanfall losing to MC4, and then Crimson Red getting involved, and then Crimson Red getting into a match with Ash, and Titanfall gaining Ash's victory by disqualification, and then attacking Crimson Red, and then they went back and forth. And then the September 24th edition, this past Wednesday night, of Intensity saw Titanfall and Anarchy lose to MC4 and Ash in a tag match, and we saw Crimson Red lose the top rope qualifying match Battle Royal, which the winner would end up eventually becoming DHIG, which kind of put Crimson Red and inserted him into this match against Titanfall, being as he's not in the top rope match. And since MC4 is in the top rope match, he wouldn't be able to be a part of the Extreme Championship match at top rope. So now we have Crimson Red versus Titanfall. Titanfall, I think, has Crimson Red's number, but I think Crimson Red also has Titanfall's number. I feel like they know each other pretty well. I feel like Titanfall will be able to pull out something very unexpected, and I feel like Crimson Red will be able to do something, have his one spot on the card in the match where he does this kind of high-risk move, or this interesting move or whatever. Yeah, I think he'll get the fans interested in him. And now that Crimson Red is a heel, at least I believe so, Titanfall is a face, which makes it a face versus a heel match. Which, instead of a face versus face match, you'll be able to have the fans less confused and be able to have them cheer for one person, which will make it much more interesting than having them being confused and, do I cheer for him or do I cheer for him? which I believe that making Crimson Red a heel was the right decision, the right way to go by USW, being that Titanfall is new, so you can get the fans to have more of a chance to get behind Titanfall, and since Crimson Red has been in that picture for a while, have him be the heel and have him zone away from the fans interest. This match should be good. This match has a bit of hype going into it. It seems like a very good matchup. Titanfall, powerhouse. Crimson Red can be a powerhouse when he wants to, but he's kind of like more of a technical wrestler, more than a high flyer or a powerhouse. He's more of a technical wrestler. Titanfall can be both a powerhouse and a technical wrestler, but I feel like he's more of a powerhouse. So we have another, different attribute, or another different styled or opposite styled matchup. Being as we have now a powerhouse versus a technical wrestler, and we don't see many technical wrestlers. Well, at least in USW. But so now we have this matchup, which should be a good matchup. And it's hard for me to predict a winner because I feel like Titanfall has a good chance of retaining the Extreme title, but I feel like Crimson Red also has a good chance of regaining the Extreme title. In my opinion, though, I think Titanfall is going to come out the winner and retain the Extreme Championship. I feel like he's got a little bit of an upper hand over Crimson Red, being as, even though he's newer to this spot where he's at right now, I feel like he's gotten a little bit more of time to get to know Crimson Red, and he's been able to watch Red's matches against MC4 and other people before he was the Extreme Champion or in that spot. As Crimson Red, though, now is only just realizing, or really just kind of finding out what Titanfall's style of wrestling is. So I feel like Titanfall is going to come out the winner in this match. Third match on the card is Lane versus BP Fierce. I forgot what happened at Capital Carnage. Capital Carnage. Lane and BP Fierce fought off. BP Fierce ended up coming out victorious. And then the Intensity after on September 3rd. What was it? Lane and BP Fierce. And then it was a triple threat or three-way top rope qualifying match. What was it? I can't read my handwriting. Well, whatever. BP Fierce and Lane were in, I believe it was a three-way or a four-way top rope qualifying match, and neither of them came out victorious. It was Anarchy coming out victorious. The week after, it was the September 10th edition of Intensity, and, let's see, that ended up... And then it was the September 10th edition of Intensity. BP Fierce's team of Fernandez, Gringo, Ezra Kills, Benny Franklin, Chain Reaction, Indigo Child, Ash, and BP Fierce defeated Lane's team of Majigata, Western Light, Cannon, Prophecy, TJ, Wilbur, Anarchy, and Lane. And then the week after, September 17th, 2014 edition of Intensity. Neither of them were on that edition of Intensity, and this past Wednesday, on the September 24th edition of Intensity, Lane and BP Fierce were entered in that top rope qualifying match Battle Royal. Neither of them came out victorious. Once again, DHIG was the one that came out victorious in that match, which kind of leads them to this rematch from Capital Carnage on this top rope pay-per-view. I don't really know much about this rivalry or this feud because it's a newer feud. I haven't seen Lane in a while, and I haven't seen BP Fierce in a while. So, being as I've only been really able to watch them compete in matches other than singles matches, because I saw them compete in the tag team match, the elimination over the top rope tag match, and I saw them compete in the qualifying match, and I also saw them compete in the three-way or four-way match. I haven't seen them compete in a singles match. I haven't seen them compete in a singles match for a while, so it's kind of a little kind of too hard for me to really give you my prediction of a winner. But And I mean, I don't even know what the styles of wrestling are. I mean, I would take it that BP Fierce was kind of like a technical wrestler, and I would think that Lane would be a high flyer. But that's from when I last saw them a few months ago. So if I'm gonna have to take a guess, I'm gonna say BP Fierce is gonna come out the one victorious, because I feel like the powerhouse will, or technical wrestler will, be able to take down the high flying wrestler. I think it'll be close though. I think it'll be a good match. I think it'll be interesting, and I think the match won't disappoint or hurt the card. But I really don't know what else to say about this, because it's a newer wrestling feud that I haven't seen too much or enough of to really give you a clear prediction. But my prediction is that BP Fierce is gonna beat Lane. Fourth match on the card is for the USW World Heavyweight Championship. Capital defends the championship against Seth. At Capital Carnage, I know this one. Seth lost the championship, the world title, to Capital, and that ended up going into their match. That ended up going to their match on the September 3rd edition of Intensity, where George Martin, Capital, and Derrick Carter defeated the team of Alex, Seth, and Enigma in the main event. And then the September 10th edition of Intensity, Capital beat Enigma in a cage match, which ended up breaking Enigma's toe, which ended up keeping him off for the next 2 weeks. And then the September 17th edition of Intensity, Capital defeated Seth and Simon Saint in that handicap match, but ended up getting put through the table by Seth at the end. And then this past Wednesday, on the September 24th edition of Intensity, Capital was able to... I really don't know if it was considered a match or not, but he challenged Seth to a match for the world title. Seth came running out after Seth got locked in a car, came running out to ringside trying to attack Capital, and the bell never rang, so it was not a match. So that leads up to the world title match at Top Rope 2014, and you have Capital going in as a powerhouse, and you have Seth going in as more of a high-flying wrestler. So yet another different styled wrestling match. Should be very good. Should be very interesting, and it should be a good rematch. I guess I'm kind of glad now that Seth ended up winning the world title, because it's set up for this feud that has a lot of potential. And being as I've seen a bit of this rivalry in this feud, I've noticed how Seth kind of is able to outsmart Capital, and is very quick, so he'd probably be able to get away from Capital's, finishing maneuvers, and be able to escape Capital's constant attempts at victory, which is what I think Capital's going to try to do at this pay-per-view. And I think that his speed and quickness is going to help him in his match against Capital, as well as his quick wits. So it's kind of hard for me to predict this one. I mean, I really want to see Capital win and retain the title, because I want to see what else Capital can do against the other challengers for the world title. I would like to see another Mojigata and Capital world title match, but I don't know if we're going to get that, soon enough. If Seth wins, then will I be disappointed? Kind of. I wouldn't really be disappointed, but then I would see another Capital versus Seth match at, I think, Caution. My prediction, though, I think Capital's going to come out victorious, and I think what's going to happen afterwards is that Capital and Seth will, I think, have one more match at Caution in, 4 weeks from tomorrow. So I think that's going to be the final match, and then Capital is going to end up facing either DHIG or whoever else wins the top rope match, if it's not DHIG. So yeah, my prediction is that Capital is going to win. The fifth match on the card is for the USW Championship, your singles matches or your normal matches main event. It's Enigma defending the championship against Derrick Carter. Capital Carnage saw Enigma retaining the championship against Derrick Carter. Well, let me just rewind it all the way back to Ultimate Consequence. Ultimate Consequence, Derrick Carter defeated Enigma to win the USW Championship. Then a week later at Outcast, Enigma regained the championship by defeating Derrick Carter. They went into this pay-per-view at Capital Carnage, and Enigma came out victorious in a 3-stage Hell match, which forced Derrick Carter to have to win a number 1 contenders match for the right to face him, which ends up bringing me to the September 3rd, 2014 Intensity, which saw, once again, George Martin Capital and Derrick Carter defeat Alex, Seth, and Enigma. The September 10th edition of Intensity saw, let me see, I know what happened, but Derrick Carter, I don't think, was involved in this show, but the main event saw Enigma losing to Capital in a cage match and breaking his toe, which kept him off Intensity for the following 2 weeks. Which then, the next week, would be the September 17th edition of Intensity, which saw the number 1 contenders match for the USW Championship, Derrick Carter defeating Yo-Yo Joe. And the week after, on the September 24th edition of Intensity, they had a rematch, and Yo-Yo Joe defeated Derrick Carter. That brings us to the USW Championship match at Top Rope 2014. I mean, you have Lake or Enigma. I don't know why. Lake is just in my head because I knew that they were trying to change Enigma's name to Lake instead. But instead they kept Enigma as Enigma. So now we have Enigma and Derrick Carter. Both are powerhouses, so this is a similar matchup, a similarity matchup, which makes it harder and makes it easier at the same time. But I'll go a little bit into detail. Enigma, I think, will win against Derrick Carter. And if so, then I believe they will either have another match at Caution and possibly... No, I don't think at Bulletproof 7. I think Derrick Carter and Enigma will probably have one more match at Caution. But I think if that weren't to happen, then I think Derrick Carter and Yo-Yo Joe would go into a feud which would last and span for maybe a month or 2, maybe 3. And that would give Enigma another chance, or a chance at being able to face other competitors. So, I see Enigma defeating Derrick Carter here at the pay-per-view. If Derrick Carter were to win, we would definitely see another Enigma vs. Derrick Carter match at Caution, and whoever will win that match will go on to face the winner of either the Top Rope match or DHIG. If DHIG, once again, does not win the Top Rope match. So Enigma against Derrick Carter, I don't know what Enigma would do at Bulletproof 7. Maybe he would go and take a break because, you know, Hardy is kind of been there longer than he's been in an organization constantly, since like 2010, I believe, because I believe it was 2011 he had to take a break, and he came back for like 3 months, and in 2012 he came back for 6 months, 2013 he came back for a few months, and then got injured, came back for about a month, then got injured, and has been back in USW since February, so that's been 7 months that he's been in there constantly, which is the longest amount of time, I believe, that he's been in one place and performing for one place since 2010. So, I guess Enigma would take a break if he were to lose to Derrick Carter. I don't know how he would come back or what he would do if he came back, but we'll find out about that, you know, after tomorrow night and see what happens. But I think that Enigma will defeat Derrick Carter, and I don't know who he would go on to face for the USW Championship at Caution. Possibly Lone Wolf, maybe Greyhound, maybe someone else that is rising in the ranks. But that's if Enigma wins. But we'll find out what happens tomorrow night. My prediction though is that Enigma will win. 6th match is the main event on the pay-per-view, the 2014 Top Rope match. It is, and the order has been officially announced. Yes, it is not like the WWE's Royal Rumble. They announced the entry order before the pay-per-view. So entering at number 1 is Fernandez, number 2, Bay W, number 3, Chain Reaction, number 4, Scene Shane, number 5, Benny Franklin, number 6, Marshall, number 7, Dustin Raymond, number 8, Vicious, number 9, MC4, number 10, Eli, number 11, Gringo, number 12, Simon Saint, number 13, JLB, number 14, George Martin, number 15, Philip Akron, number 16, Indigo Child, number 17, Blade, number 18, DHIG, number 19, Anarchy, and number 20, Ezra and Kills. Fernandez and Bay W have the worst chance of winning the match, being as they are entering number 1 and number 2. Anarchy and Ezra and Kills have the best chance of winning, as they are entering number 19 and number 20. It's hard for me to guess which one who I would think would win, because my picks in this top row match are pretty much as similar as Zack's. I thought that it would either be Dustin Raymond, MC4, Philip Akron, or Anarchy winning the top row match. So we have Dustin Raymond at number 7, MC4 number 9, Philip Akron number 15, and Anarchy at number 19. Seems like this match is going to be very interesting and very scattered. If you're going to ask me who I think would win, it's going to be very hard, because it is a specialty match and there are many participants who are going to win. I'll try to cancel it out. I don't think Fernandez or Bay W will win. I don't think Chain Reaction will win. Let me cancel out. The weak ones, I would say, in my opinion, are Bay W, Scene Shane, Marshall, Eli, JLB, and that's pretty much it. Who I think are not going to win based on the odds: Fernandez, Chain Reaction, Benny Franklin, Vicious, Dustin Raymond, MC4, Simon Saint, Gringo, and George Martin. So that leaves the people that are left. That leaves Philip Akron, Indigo Child, Blade, DHIG, Anarchy, and Ezra and Kills. I'm going to have to cut down. I'm going to say the weaker links are going to be Blade and DHIG, which narrows it down to Philip Akron, Indigo Child, Anarchy, and Ezra and Kills. I feel like Ezra and Kills would be eliminated as well, so I feel like it's going to go down to Anarchy, Philip Akron, Indigo Child. And then I think Anarchy will win, because I think Philip Akron and Indigo Child will be a little bit gassed before they would have to make it to the end. So I feel like Anarchy will win this match, as he will enter at number 19. I think it'll be Philip Akron and Anarchy as the final 2, Philip Akron, Indigo Child, and Anarchy as the final 3, and those 3 and Ezra and Kills as the final 4. So my predictions for the night: Chris Ross will beat James. Chris Ross will beat James. Titanfall will beat Crimson Red. BP Fierce will beat Lane. Capital will beat Seth. Enigma will beat Derrick Carter. And Anarchy will beat the other 19 performers in the top rope match. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, or viewers. Thank you for watching. Leave in the comments below what your predictions are. And, you guys really should have a say in it. So I want you guys to put in the comments below who you think are going to win, who you think is going to lose. I'll probably leave in the description box below the matches, so in the comments below, tell me the winners of the matches that you think will happen. Alright, so thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, viewers, for watching. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe. Well, let me rephrase that. Thank you, viewers, for watching. This has been my preview and prediction video on the September 28, 2014 USW pay-per-view entitled USW Top Rope 2014. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe for more. I'm Chase Clover, signing off.